Hello, welcome back to another exciting session. My name is Mahesh Karia. You're watching me on YouTube now, and today I'm gonna take you through the full stack application with Spring Boot, Hibernate, MySQL as a backend, and Vue as a frontend. So you have to have few things available before proceeding. Node, of course, JDK, and Docker if possible. You can use XAMPP, AMP, LAMP, or whatever it may be for MySQL, and JDK, of course. So I'm going to use Nuxt for this video. This video will be very organized video where you will learn from scratch everything. So yeah, without wasting any time, let's deep dive into it. So you have to have one editor available. I'm using VS Code. You can choose any, by the way. There is no barrier to use specific editor, but last time I got comments to use STS or IntelliJ, but there are few plugins in VS Code that I always prefer to use, like Spring Boot extension pack. So you just need to install this one extension pack. So that's it. And if you have JDK available inside your system, then you need to install one more plugin, that is Java projects. So this is it, I guess. These two plugins are very important and very essential to proceed. So Java project manager, this one, okay. And the last thing, we are going to use Lombook, so we don't need to use getter settings. So you need to install this one as well if you are using IntelliJ or STS. So you need to install this plugin on in your respective editors. So yeah, without wasting any time, now we can start. So you just need to, after installation, you need to go to command platter and just search for Spring Initializer. Okay, and this is the same process that we generally do on start.spring.io. okay, so you can do this. Okay, so apart from that, after that you just need to choose your version, then your language. After that, your group id will be io.mahesh for now. Enter artifact id, REST API, enter. After that, the packaging format will be jar, enter. And the version, I'm using Java 16, enter. After that, for now I'll be using only web. Okay, if you are using VS Code, then make sure to use only Spring Web for the first time. Okay, don't use any other dependencies. We'll add this later. There is few drawbacks. This is in preview, I guess. So there are few things that I'm not sure that will work properly or not, but for this tutorial we'll start with Spring Boot. Okay, after that we'll install MySQL, JPA and all. So yeah, enter. Now choose your folder. Inside desktop, I'm going to create new folder. We'll name it like spring-vue, I guess, and will contain all the source code. So inside that, I'm going to generate my Java project. Okay, now you can click here on open. After that, you will get this thing over here. Okay, and now it will ask for it will import everything. You don't need to worry about anything else. So yeah, you just need to hit yes, yeah, or you can choose always as well. So yes. Okay, it will take some time. So till then, we are going to work on front end side. So front end side will be similar. We'll use another window. So open new window from here, and here you just need to drag your folder, whatever we have just created on desktop. So we'll go to the desktop first. Okay, after that we have Spring View. Inside that, I'm going to create new folder again. So I will name it app only. Okay, so this is the name of folder. I'm going to drag this folder on the top of my another window here, and after that, now we can proceed with both the things side by side. Okay, so this is my front end stuff. Open your terminal from here, and I'm using git bash. You can choose any terminal, by the way. So the process will be similar. Yarn in it. If you don't have yarn already, you just need to install npm install -g yarn. That's it, and I already have it, so I'm not going to install this again. So yarn init -y, that's it. And after that, you just need to create folder structure. There are folder pattern is provided by Nuxt, so I'm going to follow the same pattern. Okay, before that, I'm going to install few dependencies, like I'm going to install yarn, add Nuxt. This is same like npm install. Okay, if you are using npm, it's fine. So Nuxt Nuxt.js hyphen Axios, because we need to install Axios for to communicate with the backend stuff, and you can use fetch as well, it's all your choice. And another thing is Nuxt.js slash Vuetify. It makes sense to use Vuetify. Okay, otherwise you can use Tailwind or whatever you prefer, it's completely fine, or you can choose the CLI as well. That is the official CLI provided by Nuxt. It's all up to you. But another extension is required, that is VueTer, I guess, something like Vueter, or yeah, VeTur, I guess, something like that. I'm not sure about that plugin, but the plugin is required. Let's see what's going on here. So here you can see the Java projects that the extension we have downloaded. So you can see here, so you don't need to work with the normal folder structure. You can see all the that if you are familiar with Eclipse or IntelliJ. So it makes sense. And this is Spring Boot dashboard, where you can find your all the running projects, all the projects. So on with the just one click you can start your Spring Boot project. So before proceeding, I'm going to create a few we can go with the single package, because this format is given by this Spring Boot developers to use just single. Sorry, I don't need to create a class. I'm going to create a package over here. We'll name it user. Inside that user we are going to create classes. Okay, so you can create controller entities, the separate packages as well, but this is the standard format that I'm following. After that, here I need to create user class. Okay, which will contain my entity stuff. Okay, here after that we'll be having my user controller so make sure to use C capital. Okay, and after that we'll be having another, I don't know why, anyways, it's fine. After that we'll be having a repository, user repository. Okay, and here we go. This will be interface which will be extended by JPA repository. So before proceeding, we need to install few plugins that I told you we'll install later. You just need to right click on your pom.xml, and after that you just need to click on add starter. Okay, it will ask for the you want to install few more dependencies, then you can simply search for like MySQL, you can search for JPA, you can search for Lombook as well, like that. So now we have 4 dependencies. Okay, make sure to follow this process. Don't install everything with the on when you start the new project. Okay, so because I was getting error, so that's why I'm telling you. So just hit enter. Okay, now you can click on proceed, hit Ctrl S, finish, and click on now. So it will download the dependencies. So till then, again we'll proceed with the front end stuff. Here we already have Vueter available. Okay, you can download this thing. So this is nice plugin. After that, I'm going to create the folder structure, like pages will be there. Okay, make sure to follow this folder structure. Don't provide another names. Okay, pages should be there. Inside pages, I'm going to create a normal index.view. Okay, so that's it to getting started with these 2 things you have to do. And just write Vue and you will get the suggestion of Vue template, I guess. So I'm not getting suggestion, it's fine. Let's try again. Let's try Vue, and okay, we are not getting suggestion, might be because of something else. Let's see. It's okay, Vue. Okay, I got this. Now you just need to hit enter on Vue, and here I'll be creating just one single h1. Okay, let's see if we get suggestion. Anyways, h1, and now here I'll simply write hello world. finish. And here inside package.json you need to write one script. Okay, scripts. Inside that I'll be using start script, where I'll simply write Nuxt. That's it, finish. Then here you just need to hit yarn start. So this is it, I guess. It will take some time. Till then we'll see what's going on here. Inside REST API you just need to run this thing, but before that I need to write something inside my resource. Okay, inside here I'll be using these things. Okay, so you can use YAML file as well, application.yaml, because nowadays everyone likes to work on YAML files. So here all the things I have provided, my username, password of my database, and localhost colon, this will be my database name. So before that I have to create database. So I'm using Docker, so I just need to open my terminal. Otherwise I already have. From here as well you can open your terminal. Like, let's go with the PowerShell. So here let me open the another terminal, so it will be better. So I'm using this terminal. You can download this from store, Windows Store as well. So check for Docker -- version. Okay, if you have it then it's completely fine. Then simply run docker run name of your container will be MySQL DB. Okay, and after that environment variable will be MySQL root. Sorry, my keyboard is not working today. MySQL root password. Okay, a MySQL root password will be a normal password, I guess, that I have just provided over here. The name that I have provided here, this is my password. So you can set your password like this. Another environment variable will be MySQL database. Okay, my database name will be test, that I have provided over here. Okay, and another thing is in detach mode I'll publish this thing in 3306 colon 3306. This is it. And now you need to define your image name. MySQL is my image name, so hit enter, and that's it, finish. For the first time it will take some time to download your image. I already have image, that's why I got it. So after that now I can proceed with you can simply hit docker ps, where you will see this is running 8 seconds. Okay, so now I can proceed. Now I just need to delete my PowerShell from here, so I can proceed with the further things. Let's hit now inside here we'll go to this REST API and we'll click here, and I can close this thing as well. Now inside my front end you can see localhost colon 3000. I can grab this thing, or you can go here and we can search for localhost colon 3000. You will see this hello world. So yeah, VueJs is ready. Now we can proceed with the another folders, like we'll be having layouts will be having, will contain default dot view, will be having normal view. Okay, so a default is everything we can wrap with this default layout. Like I'm gonna show you, like if I have div, inside that you just need to write this Nuxt. Okay, this will be, and here if you write header. Okay, now let's see if I refresh the page. Okay, so default.view, it looks good to me, I guess. So let it be, we'll see it later. It might be layout, I guess. Let's see. So yeah, this is layouts. It will work, don't worry, we'll see it later. After that we'll proceed with, let's try to wrap this thing inside here and try again. Okay, let it be, we'll see it later. So after that we need a store where we'll write the Vuex files. Like for the state management I'll be using user.js, and we'll be having users.js where we'll get all the data. Okay, after that here you just need to write export default and state. Okay, and state will be having a function will contain the data. Like this is user, so we'll be having a data. For the first time it will have the empty data. After that another thing is export default or default. No need to use default this time. You just need to use const variables. Okay, here as well we'll be using normal const variables. For mutations will be contain an object that I'll use. You can say store data will be better. So store data will contain a function. Okay, and inside that function will pass two things. The first one will be the state, the current state, and the another one will be the data. So we can set state.data, or we can say, yeah, will be equal to data. So this structure will be the same for user as well. So here also you need to paste this thing, and where we'll be using few more things. Inside form will be having id, will be having name. For the first time it will be empty. Email for the first time empty. Password for the first time it will empty. After that we'll be having store id over here, and inside here as well I'll be having id. So this is, now I need to define this thing 4 times for name, email, and password. So this is Vuex. On big projects we always prefer to use Vuex, because as your project will grow you will find difficulties to manage the states. That's why nowadays I'm using this Vuex. So yeah, these are the functions. So we can write name here. This will be our email, and this is my password. So this is it. I get just to get started with the store. After that we'll have one more file that will be nuxt.config.js, will contain object, will export default object. Okay, will contain build modules, will be an array where we will define at Nuxt.js / Vuetify, and we'll be having one module that we have used, that is Axios. So this will be my modules where I'll define Axios. And the last one is we need to write components will equal to true. This is it, I guess, to get started with these things. So here inside pages there is one more folder, components, where we'll define components. Okay, components will contain the table and form there, table.view and form.view. That's it, I guess. So inside that the folder structure will be similar. Sorry, the syntax will be similar. Since we are using Nuxt, so it comes with the lots of Vuetify, so it comes with the lots of things like v app bar, v main, v container. So let it be, we'll see it later. So let's go with the Java thing and let's see if everything is working fine. So yeah, everything is working fine. So let's define here will be v app, okay, of main. Then we'll be having app bar like this, I guess. I'm not sure. Okay, not like this. App bar like this. So like this. Now we'll be having app bar title. App bar title will contain the home for now. Okay, and here after that we'll write this Nuxt variable over here. So let's compile this one more time. Alt Shift F for formatting this thing, and let's restart this thing. I don't know why this is not happening. It will take some time. So till then I'll go here. I'll try to write some backend stuff here. Okay, I have user controller. I haven't tried anything yet. So here we can start with the user entity. So we'll contain this will be my data. Okay, first this will be my entity. Okay, hit enter. After that it will be my data as well, that comes with the Lombook. After that I'll be having ID. I'll be having generated value that will wrap. This will be public variables. Public int ID. Okay, then we'll be having public string name and public string email. Then we'll be having public string password. So these three these three things are required. Okay, that's it, I guess. Now we can proceed with user controller. Here we just need to define, this is my REST controller. Okay, and after that we'll write auto add user repository, I guess. Yeah, user repository, but we don't have user repository yet, so we'll define this. You just need to extend this thing with user repository, not user repository, JPA repository, and you just need to define your model here. This is my user model that will get this from here. Okay, and the integer, the data type of your entity. So this is it, I guess. After that we can proceed with controller part, where we'll define, this is my user repository, we'll name it repository. Okay, and this is my private variable. So this is it, I guess. Now we can proceed with our get mapping and stuff. So get mapping path will be the normal path. Okay, return type will be the normal list of users. Okay, list of user. Name will be my find all, I guess. Find all will be better. I don't have any params for now, and in return I'll simply return user repository dot find all, sorry, repository dot find all. This is it, I guess. This is it. Now we can proceed with another methods, like we have get by id, post, put and delete. So the process will be similar. This will be my get mapping, but we are having id. You don't need to define these values as well, just need to define path. Here I'll be having one id. Find one will be better, I guess. Okay, you can choose service layer as well, it's all your choice. So in this is my path variable, id is my path variable. So in path variable and type will be int, I guess. Id, this is it. So inside here you can write find by id, where you can define id, or else it might be null as well. Okay, so this is it, and this is not a return type, will be single user, not the list of user. That's why the next thing is post mapping. You just need to write post here, but let's go with the suggestion. So it will automatically import the packages, required packages. So this will be a normal route, and here I'll use a create method. Okay, where I'll be having a request body will be type of user. So this is my simple user. Now I can simply write save method over here. It will return save user, it will return the user, created user. So this is also the single user, return type will be single user. Here we'll be using put mapping. So put mapping, where we'll get the id from the paths. Here the process is similar, so the name will be update, will be better, I guess, where we'll get two things. First we'll get the path variable, which will be type of int, and id will be there, and another thing will be requested body, so will be type of user. So you can define user, it's all your choice what you choose. So here you just need to find something before proceeding. So I'll be using user, old user, okay, which will be similar to this thing. Okay, because we are getting id, so we'll get the old user first, then I'll use old user dot set name. Okay, and you can say user dot get name, because all the getter setters are there. You don't need to write getter setters because of Lombook, but make sure to use the dependency of Lombook inside the plugin before proceeding. So this is my email. So this is my email. Last one is my password. I don't know, this is all your choice how you use it. There are different strategies to use update pattern, but last one is the save, where we'll save the old user, because the old user is updated now. The last one is, this is the return type will be a single user always, so in case of save. So here also we'll be having return type will be id integer, I guess will be better, because we'll just return the deleted id, or destroy will be better. Okay, and here I'll be using delete by id if possible. Delete by id, I guess, yes, this is there. So this is similar to id, which will come with the path variable. Okay, will be type of int id, this is it, I guess, and in return we will just return id. This is it, all the required things we have done. Let's see what's going on inside front end. So in front end we are getting this thing. So inside store data we have made mistake. This is my the arrow operator, this is my function. So let's see how it will work. I guess, yeah, hello world. So I don't know why the default is not working. Let it be. So I guess this is working actually, because you can see the hello word was, it should not be there. Okay, it's fine. So let's try to wrap this thing inside v container. Justify center, and align center as well. And inside that we'll wrap this Nuxt. So this is not part of app bar, this is part of main. So let's move this to here, Alt Shift Tab, and now it should work, I guess. So now you can see it's working fine. Let's, okay, so now we can proceed with the components, where I'll be using my component stuff over here. It's let's create the layouts first. Inside index I'll try to create layout. Okay, so let's have row will contain column. Okay, will contain form. Okay, and let's have another column will contain table. Okay, you can directly use this like this, all the components that you will create. So this is the pattern that we'll follow. Okay, in form let's try to write something. H1 will be form, and let's try to write here as well. H1 will be table. So let's see if we can see side by side two things. Yeah, this is working. So now we can proceed with the remaining stuff. For the documentation you can go to Vuetify inside here. Okay, so you will learn everything from here. Just click on get started, and here you can choose the components, UI components, like all the components that you will like to work on. You can get this from here. Okay, just like other libraries, everything is given over here. But let's go. I already have a menu, so I will not go with that. Let's search for the table first, where we'll be having a data table. So let's go with the data table if we can use it. So let's try this out. Let's try this v table once. Let's grab this thing inside table if possible. I'm not sure, but let's not use these things. I don't want this thing. Let's have atom will be users, that I know. Okay, I'll be having users. Headers will be something, I guess. So let's try to grab headers from here. Okay, we have headers as well here. I don't need this thing. So let's grab this thing. We'll remove it later. So let's grab this all for the first time. So in return, so this is my data. Okay, so let's use this data inside here. Okay, and I don't need this thing. And let's try to use this thing first before proceeding. So let's have results first. Let's try this out. Yeah, wow, this is working. The pagination is also there. So you just need to grab this thing. So let's try to use users over here. Okay, now inside here I have headers, but inside headers I'll be having my headers, name, email, password, edit, delete kind of stuff. So let's try name, let's try email, let's try password, let's try edit and delete stuff as well. Okay, the process will be similar. Let's try delete, edit, password, and email. This will be my name. So this is it, I guess. And we can remove this thing for now. And instead of, so let's use this thing as well, because we have buttons, so I'll need this thing. So this is the button of edit, delete, and viewer. For view I don't need this thing, so these two buttons are required, I guess. So you can write this thing, this for edit, this for delete, this is my function name that will write. Okay, and the rest of process will be same, like I'll be have a variable like computed. Okay, inside that I'll be having a name, data. Okay, we'll use users over here. So inside that, this is my function, will return like this dot dollar store dot users dot this will be state dot users dot data. So from that file that we have created inside store here, so you will get the data from there. Oh, this is my data that will get here. Okay, so this is it, I guess. Now we need async fetch method will fetch the data. Okay, so for that we need to do this dot dollar store dot commit. Okay, where we need to define the name of file, user slash your name of your function, store data. Inside that I'll be having await method to will fetch the data from somewhere else, like await. I'll be using this dot dollar axios. Let's use dollar axios dot get, and we'll get from http colon slash slash localhost colon 8080, the port of our backend, and slash users if possible. We'll try to write inside users dot data. Okay, so this will be, this is the pattern to use fetch. Make sure to wrap this thing inside client only. Client only, try this thing. So this is it, I guess. Now we need methods. Okay, so I'm going to define methods over here. Methods will have all the methods to get, fetch, delete, update. So let's try to see what the method name we have given over here. Let's follow the same. Okay, I have delete item. Delete item will get id. Okay, or this will be async method, and here I'll do the this dot dollar axios dot delete, and here I'll be using paths that will be similar. You can define this thing inside environment variable or somewhere else. This is constant. So here, the path will be this, and we'll use the id over here. Okay, and after that we need to do one more thing. This is definitely how it should be there, and after that we need to use this thing again to store id back to 0. Id back to 0. Let's see, don't need this thing because when there will be a id as well inside form. Okay, and when we will click on it, the id will be updated, so we need to get back to 0 once you have deleted something. So we don't need this, I guess. We just need to fetch this thing again. So this is it. Okay, once you delete something, it will automatically fetch the latest users. So this is the idea, and after that we need edit user as well. Okay, let's grab this edit item, not user. So edit item will contain a user. Okay, I guess there is no need to use user as well because we already know user, but even though we'll use user because now I don't need this thing. Okay, now we just need to update all the fields of our form. Okay, so when I'll click on the button, it will update the form. So we'll use same for form for the post method and for the put method as well. So this will be id 0. After that we'll be having, we'll get this thing for the 3 more time for name, email and password. Here I'll be using name, and here's my password. So password will be user.password. This is my user.email. This is my user.name, and this is my user.id. Okay, so this is it. This is it, I guess. Now the next thing is, let's go to the backend and let's see what's going on there. Now we need to define one more thing here inside my main file, which is, I don't know, the user application, this one. So let it be. We'll go here and we'll define the cross platform origin. So you just need to use at cross origin, first one. Another one is to we'll try to install dependency. Let's try to use request URL as well. Request mapping will be /users. Okay, like this. And the last one is, we need to define one Maven dependency, which will be Spring Fox hyphen starter. Let's search for the start. So you will get one dependency which is very much resolved all the issues. You don't need to use Postman anymore. Let's try again. Spring Fox okay, let's try once again. We'll name it Spring Fox boot. Okay, this one. Okay, so you can see now it's just updated pom.xml. Now you need to hit Ctrl S and click on now. It will grab this thing. Okay, just click here on stop. We'll restart the server once again. Okay, and hit Ctrl KW to close all the files. Before that we need to save user controller. Yeah, sure. Okay, let's try this thing once again. So till then we'll go to here. So here we have almost defined everything over here. So Now it's time to work on form. Okay, so let's go to the form. Inside that I'll be using v form, will contain all the v text field. Okay, v text field will contain model as well, so we'll see it later. Let's see. Model, v model will be id, simple id. Okay, let's label it. We can use label. This will be my id for the first time. So if we get the id, then only we'll show the id. Okay, otherwise we don't need to show this thing. If we have id, then we'll show it. So this will be hidden type, hidden field most of the time. This is common practice to use same form for all the time, for edit and delete as well. So name, edit and post, name, email, and this is my password. So same for password, same for email, same for, let's go to the name. Okay, and we don't need to define this thing here. And let's this is it. Now we need button as well here, so we'll use v button. btn will be better. So inside that button, at click we'll do something. On click we'll do one thing, that will submit something. Submit will be, will get the user. Okay, so user will be object. So here we will define id, name, email, password. This is it, I guess. Let's try this out. And here you can define, you can wrap this thing in something. You can define h1, like no need to define h1, we'll use h2. Let's use some br tags. Inside that I'll be using h2. Inside h2 I'll simply write the form. Okay, like this, and here inside button we can define like if we have the id, let's say if we have id, then we'll write edit. Okay, if we don't have id, it means we need to use submit. Okay, this is what I feel. So we need to wrap this thing inside here. Okay, like this. So now it will work. Now let's try to define the data. Okay, here we'll be having a data, and data will be contain the object of id. So we'll define id, get. So here we'll be using this dot dollar store, store, store dot state dot user dot id, like that. And for set, you don't need to define. For set I'll be using just this dot dollar store dot commit. Okay, inside that the name of your file slash store, whatever the name, id, and here we'll pass the id. Okay, like this, and let's name it value will be better. Okay, so let's grab this thing for the 3 more time for id, email, name, email, and password. Okay, let's go here. Let's define this thing for name. Okay, this is for name. Okay, this will be user slash store name. You can define functions as well, it's all your choice. To minimize the code, name, email, and here as well we'll be using email, and same here we'll use the name of function that we have defined, email, and here we'll be using password, and where we'll define password function name. So, and let's define something here, the methods. That methods will be the simple, I guess, because we have submit. Okay, submit method where we'll get the user. Okay, and let's use the method if we have user.id which is not equal to 0. So it means we are going to edit the user. So let's try to use await this time. This let's try axios $axios dot put, we can say, where we'll pass the http colon slash slash let's try localhost colon 8080 slash users slash we can say plus user.id. Okay, and okay, this is it, I guess, and we need to define the data here, user. Okay, so once else Alt Shift F that I use to format the page, and apart from that, if you don't get ID, it means we need to post the data. Okay, so instead of put, I'll be using post, where I don't need this thing ID. Okay, and make sure to use this slash, okay, at the ending of this. So I forgot in table, I guess. Let's use the slash after each. So it's a good practice. So this is it, I guess. Inside form I got this thing, but before that, after doing everything, we need to reset the form. Okay, so this is my async method. So after that, here we need to reset form. Reset means what? We need to define this thing back to 0. So let's say we have user. Okay, and if we have, so we'll update the values, we can say. So we can write user.id over here 3 more times for email, name, email, password, name, email, password. Here as well I'll be using email, and let's say name. Okay, and let's try to define this thing over here. After, once you perform the operation, after that, here we'll be using ID will be my 0 to reset the form, name will be back to normal, email will be back to normal, password will be back to empty. Okay, and this is it to reset the form. Now we need to edit form. Okay, to edit means, no, it's fine, I guess. Now let's go to the Java stuff. Okay, it's working, I guess. Now we can click here to recompile everything, because we have installed the dependencies over here. And let's say if I go to the, so you can see this thing. Okay, Now if I go to the localhost colon 8080 slash 8080 slash swagger UI, so I should get something, I guess, according to me. So let's see if we get some errors. Found one error. No, it's taking time, but it's fine. Data source. So use dialect here. Let's refresh the page. It should work, I guess. No, why this is not working? User controller. What? The user controller pin method. There is already user controller method. Let's see what. Okay, this one not needed, I guess. Is already there in user controller. Let's see what the mistake we have made. Get mapping, put mapping, post mapping, put mapping. Okay, get mapping, this one. So instead of this we should have delete mapping. Okay, so let's save this thing. Okay, and let's start again. So now it will work, I guess. So yeah, it's working. So inside users, we'll try to fetch all users first. Let's see if we get some errors. No, we are not getting error here. So inside post, let's try to post something. Like in here in name, I'll try to pass something. I don't need ID, I guess. Okay, email will be my Mahesh at gmail.com. Password will be password. Name will be Mahesh. Let's try to submit this thing. Okay, it's working fine. Let's try to get one. Let's try to define the ID over here. Let's see if we get the error. Okay, not getting error, we are getting response. Let's try to update something over here. Let's add ID. Let's define the, it's not define ID. Let's get the response that we just got. Okay, and now let's try to edit this thing. So I'll be using @ symbol in front of all, so it should work, I guess. Understand? So yeah, the data is updated. Let's try to delete the data again. So let's go to right one here. Let's delete something. So yeah, it's deleted. Everything is working fine. If I go back to my find all method, it will provide the empty array as usual. If I go to the users, if I try to submit again, I'll get ID 2. So it's working. If I refresh the page, I should get at least something over here. Let's edit something. So it's not working. The edit button is not working. Let's try to go to the inspect and let's see what's happening over there inside console. So we are getting this users. Okay, got it. So let's go to here. There is something wrong where we are getting user slash store ID. Okay, here this is not users, this is user, like this. So it should work now. Let's refresh the page. Let's close this thing. Try to, okay, we have inside default, we have something to see. Form components, what pages, index.view. Okay, inside form, I guess we have something to work on. Password, the method password is not defined. The property or method password is not defined inside form. Let's go to the form first and let's try to understand the password. Okay, this one is not defined. It's fine. This is because of this, I guess. Let's use computed here. Let's try this once again, and let's see. Okay, we are getting something over here. So it's working, but the password is not here. Let's try to refresh the page. Okay, and let's click on edit. So yeah, we got, instead of ID we are getting password. So there is something else here. Model is ID, name, email and password. Okay, ID, name, email and password we are submitting, so it should work as expected. Why we are not getting ID, this is the issue. Apart from that, delete will work, I guess. Let's try to delete something. Let's try to refresh the page. Let's try to submit something first. Okay, name will be Mahesh at gmail.com, Mahesh at 123. Let's submit this thing. So yeah, a reset form, rest form. Instead of a rest form, we need to define reset form. Okay, it's not defined. It's why this is not defined. Because of this. Okay, let's use await as well. No need, I guess, to use await. Let's try this out. Let's refresh the page once. No need to refresh page, I guess. So okay, it's done. Let's add it. Why we're getting this thing inside edit? Let's see. Here we have made mistake. When we click on add it, so inside table, when we are clicking on add it, it means in store ID, store name, store email, password. Okay, name, email, password. This is perfect. Let's go to the user. Let's see ID, name, email and password. So this is again perfect. Mutations. So I guess because of inside form here, it should be password. Let's try this once again, and let's see. Yeah, now this is working. Let's try to edit something. I'll put the symbol, added symbol as usual, and let's try to update something. It's updated, but we are not getting data over here. Okay, so it's updated, so we need to update this thing as well once we submit something. Let's try to submit again something. Okay, there should be validations as well over here. So how to update this data is also important. So when we click on submit thing here, when you reset the form, after that we need to make things normal. So we need to call this thing one time. So after everything, we'll get this thing we need to update here after resetting the form. Let's try this once again. There are editors, validators are available inside documentation, you can prefer to use. Okay, let's edit this thing. Okay, we got this thing. Let's delete. Yeah, deleted. Let's try this to remove this thing. Okay, and let's see. So yeah, it's working. So thank you very much all of you guys for being with me, supporting me all the time. It's been pleasure to be here. Let me know inside comment box if you like this video. Please consider to subscribe my channel, and if you want some more videos from my side, please let me know. I'll be more happy to make few I used to make videos on different technologies, .NET, almost all the technologies. So please let me know inside comment box. Thank you.